Welcome you all. May I just greet you all good morning, good afternoon, evening, depending from wherever you'll be watching us. I am Mateus. I am Professor Mateus Mutola, the Genius Code Breaker, who helps professionals and entrepreneurs discover their purpose and awaken their genius so that they can maximize their potential and enjoy a life of impact, establish an indelible mark, and leave a legacy for the future generations. Allow me to welcome you all to to the year 2023 and to the first epic episode of the Dr. Mom Show. Dr. Mom Show is just here to help you awaken your genius and build healthy relationships. And as a matter of fact, this is the first ever English episode of Dr. Mom Show. Usually we used to conduct this show in Portuguese, but today for a change, a new year, we're gonna have this episode in English. Please remember to subscribe, like, leave your comment, and also share this conversation. Today, we have a very special guest going to help us deliberate or discuss on this interesting topic. How can you win in the year 2023? And I'm having with me in the show Dr. Christie. Dr. Christie, welcome to Dr. Mom Show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to having a great conversation. Thank you for having me.
It's really wonderful to have you in the show. Just to help you, ladies and gentlemen, have an understanding of who we are talking with today. Just for you to know that our guest is very special. Dr. Christie is very empathic, dynamic, and impactful. Those are the three words that often do describe her. Dr. Christie is the World Civility Ambassador. She's the founder and philosopher of Narrate Your Story Academy, a California based coaching and training company that develops cutting edge programs for public speaking, entrepreneurship, and self development. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Christie, through her signature program, Storytell to Sell, she teaches women leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals how to package and sell their expertise using storytelling and how to narrate their stories to stand out from the crowd, be seen as the authority, and create the challenge they desire to see in the world. Her signature program draws from Dr. Christie's own life experiences and interactions working with women from all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chris speaks at small business conferences and facilitates her own workshops and events. She is the producer and host of Narrate Your Story TV, a program spotlighting top leaders, entrepreneurs, and the everyday people with extraordinary stories of overcoming, narrating their stories. She is the recipient of the 2018 Women Add Value Award for Women Leaderships, 2021 World Civility Ambassador with the Haitian Nations, and a 2021 honorary degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Humanities from the United Graduate College and Seminary. Dr. Krista, we are so excited to have you in the show, and I'm glad actually in particular because I know that you are the very right person to help us understand how we can win this year 2023. But as a rule, we are challenged to write what is called the New Year's resolution that describes what we intend to see happen in our lives in the year that begins. Other people simply throw their lives at luck, believing that the even year is the year of blessings or success for them. And there are those who confine themselves into or to the year what we call the odd years, believing that the odd years are the years for their success or prosperity. But the truth is that few people experience the materialization of their points contained in their list of the New Year's resolutions because the year is never new until you change. 2023 will have the same seconds, minutes, hours,
Mhm.
days, weeks, and months as the year that just ended. You see, it is you who must change so that you can obtain different results than the ones you got in the previous year. And this conversation will help you and show you how just to go about this. Dr. Christie, my first question to you is why do you think that the New Year's resolutions oftentimes do not work for the majority of people out there?
That is a good question because when you talk about other people, myself included, done it for years. And what I realize is that oftentimes just saying New Year's resolution is not enough. Because when you don't have a focus of the result that you want to get behind making the New Year resolution, chances are you're bound to fail. Chances are you're not going to keep it. But let me also say that I've been one of those that every year I used to make New Year resolution. And number one, I made it because everybody else is doing it. So that's the rave everybody else is doing. But this year and the year to come, I really decided, and I want your viewers to listen to this because there may be other people that are still where I used to be. And that is number one, making it because other people are making it and not really putting so much thought into the reason that you are making the New Year resolution. Number two, the result that the New Year resolution is supposed to get for you. The impact, if you are a business owner, the impact, how do you change other people's life because of the New Year resolution? What will be a difference maker because you have a New Year resolution and actually follow through? And what I discovered in my own path is following through. Making the New Year resolution is no problem, is following through. And following through is part of it is because number one, there's no strategy, there's no foundation for yourself as to how do you plan to get there. For example, if you are making a New Year resolution for working out, for example, because this is the month that everybody wants to make a New Year resolution to lose weight. They come March, people are dropping like flies. Number
Right.
one is it's not enough just making the New Year resolution, but putting the plan behind it. How are you going to get there? If you are planning to lose weight, what are the processes? How many pounds do you want? If you want to lose 20 pounds and you're giving yourself 4 months to do that, the question is how many months, how many pounds do you plan to lose in a week? How many pounds do you plan to lose in a month? Then how many plans do you have to lose in 4 months? But even before that, there's some assets, what I call assets, that's going to help you to lose that weight. It's not enough just declaring that I'm going to lose 20 pounds. But what assets? What have you put in place? But even more so is what are the red flags that may stop you from accomplishing your goal? And that oftentimes is what we don't think about. We think about the goal, the plan, what we want, but we never really think about the red flags that may stop us from losing that weight. I'll continue with the weight loss. The red flag. The red flag may be for somebody who likes to go out every time. You know, there's a temptation for going out. And you know that is if you go out, and if you were like me, if you go out, it's so tempting to have that good food. The question is, how do I plan it? Even if I want to go out, how do I plan it so that I get tempted? Well, for me, I won't be going to the restaurant for sure because I know what my weaknesses are. I know it's a red flag for me, but instead, I would rather cook at home because I know the ingredients that's going to go into what I'm eating. So it's always good when you are making a plan. Not only do you make a plan, figure out the asset that's going to help you accomplish that plan, right? But also think about what will stop me from accomplishing the plan. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, that's very interesting the way you just put it, because you're saying we need to not just have the list of the New Year's resolutions, but also to be able to follow through. And I love the example you just gave about the restaurant. Now, Can you help our viewers understand that even when I follow up with the plan, or yes, with the plan, what actual steps one can take to be successful to attain the goals?
You
Now,
know,
you gave a very
but
interesting idea, thought of like avoiding the restaurant, for example,
mhm,
coming to the
mhm,
weight loss
mhm.
example. But then there are the steps one can take besides that, adding to that.
Are there other steps that someone can step beside the restaurant? Is that what you're asking?
Besides avoiding the restaurant.
Beside avoiding, another point that someone can take is really planning your meal.
Yeah. Okay.
Planning your meal is a great idea because when you plan your meal, first of all, you may be able to cut down the price, the convenience of cooking at home, right? And even if you have to go to a restaurant, plan what you're going to eat. Don't wait till you get to the restaurant and you start looking around. First of all, if you plan it now, these days, most restaurants are online. So you can look at the menu, think about what you're going to order. And oftentimes, they even have calories for each thing that you are ordering. So when you do that, you have a better chance of eating what you're supposed to eat and avoiding what you're not supposed to eat.
That's right. Thank you so much for that one. Now, help us understand that how can my story, my life story, affect my past? Because sometimes we don't move forward because we somehow get we are bound by our past experiences, and which somehow that do affect the way we look at ourselves and life right now. We come up with some fears, low self-esteem. We don't believe in ourselves because what I went through, let me say, in the past. We allow the past to stop our present and even the future, to paralyze us from acting, from going after into going towards our goals. Now, and I understand that you are an expert as far as narrating our story is concerned and how to turn that into success. Now, as you delve into that, please help us understand that how can one or can someone not allow himself to be detained by the negative experience from their past so that they can move forward
And
into 2023?
I am so glad you asked that question because when it comes to our story, I believe that every one of us, we have stories. Everyone has a story, the good, the bad, the ugly. And guess what? That shapes who we are. Because without those past experiences, and oftentimes we don't want those experiences, especially if they are negative experiences. But can I just tell you that those experiences were put on your path so that you can help somebody else who's either going through it right now or maybe going through it in the past? Because maybe going through it in the future, I should say. Because one thing that is sure is that you cannot give what you don't have. If you have not experienced it, you may be able to read it in a book. But when you experience it and you are helping someone else with it, totally different. So you ask the question, how can we get over our past, especially when that past is so negative? And I cannot be sitting here without telling you how it all for me. You know, coming to America, English being my second language, one of the struggles that I faced was being able to stand up and speak, being able to speak in public, being able to have a good communication. It wasn't because people did not hear what I said. They heard me all right, but my English was different from the way they were used to hearing it. And for that reason, I used to hear people ask me a question, what did you say? What did you say? And immediately I was shrunk because in my mind, I it meant that I didn't know what I was saying. It meant that I wasn't saying it the right way. But guess what? I knew that I would encounter that problem over and over again. I knew that I would encounter it at work, in a professional setting, in a school, I will encounter it with friends. I decided that instead of having that shut me down where I I couldn't stand, I decided to do something about it. And I decided to say, not again, that I was going to go after. I could have just said, oh, well, English is my second language. And there's nothing wrong with it. But can I just tell you, when you can turn your past to positive, you stop thinking about being a victim, but you see it as a victor, something that is there in your way, on your path to be able to help somebody else. Now, I coach women, mostly women. My women are people that are retired, people that are still in their 9 to 5, just like myself, or people that say simply, I am so tired of doing the same thing year in, year out. I want to be able to do something different, whether they are women leaders or not. The one thing that I know is that when they come in, they see themselves as a victim because of their past, whether it's because of abuse they suffered as a child or abuse that they suffered as an adult. And when I began to put in place, because I understand what it feels like for somebody to have something in their mind, for something that you want to share with the world, but not being able to say it, not being able to speak up because the head shatter is too much. And after I work with these women to see them transform, looking at their past as something to help people in the future, everything changes. Why does everything change? Because they now believe in their possibility. Why? Because I held the light for them to believe in their possibility. Why? Because they begin to see the genius, as you put it, in them. They realize that what they have value, that what they have has, it does matter. That they may not be like everybody else, but guess what? God didn't create everybody to be the same, because otherwise this whole world will be boring, right? It's about believing in your possibility. It's about when you think about your past as something to help somebody else, everything changes because now you look at yourself. You can't wait to get out. You can't wait to get out to tell your story. A story is really a conversation, what experiences of what we have been through. Nothing more, nothing less. Unfortunately, they say that about 77% of US population fear speaking, fear getting up and speaking. But that is because of what? The head, the head trash that we have in our head. So I say to everybody watching us, this is the new year. And I've always said, if you can be better today than you were yesterday and plan to be better tomorrow than you are today, that's all that matters, because you are only in competition with yourself and no one else.
You're only in competition with yourself and no one else. That's a very interesting point, Dr. Christie. As you were explaining and showing our viewers how to look at the positive side of their story, a thought came to my mind. How about sometimes people are detained not just because of what they went through, but because of the pain. They fear the pain to come up again, to be repetitive. And somehow that paralyzes them as well. Because I think there are two things. One is the fact that the past is negative, not so good. Like you mentioned to say, it's bad and it's ugly. So that somehow brings shame because we are not taught to embrace positively our negativities. So that brings some sort of shame. But on the other side, there's pain, the fear of pain. Like you know from psychology, every action we take is based on two poles, either fear or pleasure. So when we interpret that this, we deem that this situation will bring me some pain, we tend to avoid. Now, how can in your narrative, how can you help our viewer or our viewers to not to be detained by pain?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. There's five things that I believe that when you are trying to go from where you were to where you want to be, to let the past be so that you can move forward. I believe there's five things that really is going to help in order to win that stage that you want to be. And number one, and this really makes sense because he helped me a whole lot. I am speaking, when I'm talking, I am speaking from experience. And number one of those things is release your ego. That's right. Release your ego. Let me tell you about the ego. Ego is good. There's some part of ego that is good. Why? Because ego is about self-image. But there's also that part of ego that will get us stuck at a place, that won't allow us to move forward. Now, when somebody's going through horrible things, now I don't take it so lightly because I've never been in their shoes and I don't know what they're going through. But then, oftentimes, you find out that you're wallowing in the past is gone, and there's really nothing that you can do about it. The ego part of it it's in more than one thing that causes the ego. And like I said, it's about the self-image. And in my own case, mine may not have been horrible because I was uncomfortable speaking and people will be asking me questions. But it wasn't just those people. What if I think about it in a different way? That they were just simply asking me questions to understand me better so that they can communicate with me. That it wasn't because I was stupid, which I know I wasn't, but that's what my mindset was telling me that. And as long as my mindset continued to tell me that, I will continue to drag myself down. So the first thing to help us is to let the ego go. The ego that keep us stuck. When you let the ego go, you stop thinking about what other people are thinking, what other people may be thinking about you, what other people may be thinking about your situation. So the first thing is to release the ego because it doesn't serve us anywhere. It just
How
continues.
do you how do you release the ego?
You release the ego, number one, by, and that will bring me to the second point,
Okay.
taking a chance. You release the ego by taking a chance. You take a chance by being vulnerable, putting yourself out there. And it's not easy. And I cannot tell you it's easy because I still remember the very first time I put myself out there on social media. I've been wanting to do a video for so long. I would do it and I would delete the video. I would do it and I would delete the video. I would do it and I finally got tired of the video. I got tired of doing it because I was trying to get the best one. To me, was the best one. But what I did not realize was that my worst video was somebody else's best video. Now, I want your viewers to understand what I'm saying. What I consider to be my worst video actually was somebody's best video. And I just couldn't put the video out there. And finally, I got sick and tired. Did you hear me? I got sick and tired of doing it and deleting it. And I finally uploaded the video and I deleted the video because it wasn't good for me. Immediately, I deleted the video. I did the second video. Guess what? The second video was worse than the first video. I started deleting the second video and I said, oh my God, I knew how long it took me to do the first one and the second one. What makes you think that the third one will be better? I finally, out of nervousness, frustration, overwhelming, I uploaded that third video.
Wow.
The second video. I uploaded that second video. I don't think I slept all night because I was so busy concentrating on who somebody's gonna negative comment. Oh my God, oh my God, my heart was beating. I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. And I would wake up every now and then to see if anybody made a negative comment. Nobody made it a negative comment.
Wow.
Except one person that DM me and saying, because of you, I'm going to do my first video.
Wow.
Because of that imperfect video gave somebody else the motivation, the inspiration to go ahead and do her own video. What am I saying? Oftentimes, you got to take a chance. Take a chance of being vulnerable. Take a chance of putting, if you that is a product that you are doing and you worry so much about it. Like I said, your imperfect product, services that you are thinking about may be the best that someone has been looking for. And you will never know. And let me tell you what else. One victory will change everything for you. That's right. When you put it out there and you get a feedback or somebody make a comment, and in my own case, the reason that you can hear my voice today, that I'm talking to you today, that gave me the inspiration to say, oh my God, it wasn't really too bad. What? Nobody was thinking about me. And if I knew nobody was thinking about me and looking at whether I did it right or didn't do it right or whether it was perfect, I would have done it a long time ago. And so my thing is, take a chance, feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it
And do it
anyway. That's a
anyway.
powerful point. Very powerful.
That's right. And that brings me to this third one that I want to talk about, and that is owning your identity. That's right. Own
Mm.
your identity. Because this is what I find out, especially in this entrepreneurial path. And trust me, I did everything wrong before I got it right. I did everything wrong because when you get out, you don't even know who you are. It's a wide world web out there. You don't even know who you are. And you're looking at everybody. You're looking at everybody. You're trying to find your lane. You're trying to find your path. You're chasing this expert. You're chasing this expert. It's like you lose who you are. But when you lose who you are, that's the beginning of your dilemma because you will continue to chase other people. But if you can step back and think about, why am I here? What am I doing here? What is the purpose of me being here? Who am I supposed to help? Why am I here? What is the foundation that will help you? So the third one is really owning your identity and knowing that your fingerprint is by design and not by choice. When you can do you, there will be no competition and no duplication. I mean, I'm saying it may be like it's that easy, but I know how it was being a new entrepreneur, getting in and watching everybody. It's hard not to compare. So the third one is really owning your identity. And that brings me to this fourth one that I believe is very important. And I'm talking to you because I've been able to do that, and that is investing in yourself. Investing in yourself with time, reading, investing in your time, hiring a mentor, a coach, somebody that have walked the journey that you want to walk, because it will save you a lot of headache, it will save you time, and will curve the learning time for you. So the fourth one, I really believe, is investing in yourself. When you invest in yourself, is the investment that keep giving. It is the investment that keep giving as long as you live. As the investment that not only help you because you invested in yourself, you also get to share the blessing with other people. So I believe that the fourth one is investing in yourself. And that brings me to the last one, the fifth one, which is no matter what you do, that you never give up. Because what I see is that Oftentimes you tried it, it didn't work. You tried, you frustrated, you're overwhelmed. Guess what? Just when your win is around the corner, you simply quit. And if you quit, you will never get to that destination. But I promise you that if you continue to make changes, if done it didn't work, get feedback from people. Do it again, rinse and repeat it. And I promise you, you will get to that destination. But if you quit, you will never get there. So those are my winning tips and strategies.
Like the saying goes, winners never quit, something like that.
And quitters
And
never win. That's
never
right.
win. That's right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Christy. This a very powerful, life-changing thoughts or points on how to win 2023. Just refresh our viewers and those who are joining us right now. I'm having a wonderful conversation with Dr. Christy, and words like empathic, dynamic, and impactful do describe this wonderful woman. For those who have just been with us, and for those who are joining us right now, even for you who will be joining us or watching the show after on the replay, Dr. Chris just presented a very powerful 5 points that can change your life forever and make this year indeed to be the best ever. Number one, she says that you need to release your ego, let go of the ego. Very interesting point. Number two, she says you need to release the ego by taking a chance, by accepting to be vulnerable, taking steps towards that which you want to be or attain in your life. Number three, she says you have to own your identity. Very interesting. In other words, just seek to be yourself in your endeavor, in your area of influence of actuality. Number four, she says you need to invest in yourself, keep learning, just keep learning. The year just starting right now. I mean, just still fresh at the beginning. So there's a ample time, make time for you to learn, keep growing. And then she says you need to be able to never give up, never quit whatever you want to do in life, no matter the setbacks, but keep pushing, keep going forward, and eventually you shall be declared the winner. Dr. Christie, you are an expert as far as storytelling or narrating one story is concerned. And one of your programs, I understand that you are, one of your signature program is Storytell to Sell. Can you please delve into that for a while?
Well, Storytell is my signature program. And on this program, you see, oftentimes people try to sell. And I've been there. And I remember when I used to, I don't know whether you did that, go to door to sell. And multi-level marketing at that time, I didn't know it much. But what I used to do, I sold prepaid Lego. And I don't know, your viewers may relate to prepaid Lego. I sold prepaid Lego. And one of the challenges, I now know that was one of the challenges. Number one, I did not believe in the product. Number two, I was pushing the sale. I was being so salesy. You couldn't even ask me much about that program, prepared Lego, that I will tell you, except what I recited. But you see, oftentimes we also bring that in business. And that's one of the reasons most people, especially new people, because I mostly serve people that are in the early stage of their business, female, women that are in the early stage of their business. They quit because immediately you're coming in and somebody sees you coming, they already in their mind know that you're selling. But when it comes to selling a product, just think about it, providing a service to help somebody else. And then the question is, how will this person know? How will they know that you can help them? Here comes your story, because that's where story is necessary. Story is necessary because if I'm telling you a story and you're sitting in the audience and you can resonate with me, the only time that you can resonate with me is because my story relates to your situation. And if
Mm,
it relates to your situation, that's the only time that you can recognize, oh, Dr. Christie can help me. But when I can with it, I don't know about you, but growing up, I grew up with elders where a lot of storytelling was what we enjoyed the most. I looked forward every night. I would finish my chores so early so that I can sit around the elders when they are telling stories. Why? Listen, because we're wired. Our brain are wired for storytelling. But what I now know as an adult is that they were really teaching us, they were teaching us lessons, but lessons were weaved inside the stories.
mm,
The lessons were weaved inside the stories. And so it's easy to digest. Even if you did something wrong and they were trying to tell you something, they will always come up with a story to tell you. A folklore. Who sit up like listening to the folklore, and it's often that folklore is about what you did, right? But they're not gonna tell you. You know exactly it's all about you. They're not going to tell you because the story in the folklore already let you know that, hey, don't do this next time. This is not nice, right? And so when I go back now and I realize, I didn't realize, I just know I enjoyed listening to folklore every single night with the elders, right? But do you know that they were teaching me lessons, and it's easy to swallow. Sometimes when you are giving a presentation that is so complex and you weave story into it, it makes it easy for the audience to understand what you're saying. It makes it easy for to people to digest what you're saying. But guess what else it does? It makes the audience attention because they're so glued to the story that you are telling that whatever else you're saying, they will get it. But if you're just there, just talking about finding every for a whole 1 hour, 30 minutes, listen, sometimes you stand to lose the audience attention. And in this day and age, if you lose the attention, you might as well fold your bag and go home because they will bring out whatever their gadget, they will be doing other things. And the last thing that you want to do is to lose the attention because when that happens, you and the audience will lose entirely. So storytelling, it's good for it's good for everything. It's good at work when you want to convince your boss why you should get this promotion. It's even good in relationship. We don't talk much about it, but it's really good when you're talking about selling, whether it's product or whether you are providing a service.
well, thank you so much for that. And we are moving towards the end of our program because I understand your time is very tight. And I would like to talk a little bit more about, first of all, let's talk about your book. This wonderful book right here, The Almanac of Rising Stars. What's this book about?
Well, unlike the Almanac of Rising Star is it's a great book that 14 upcoming players of humanity decided to write with the help of Dr. Christine Kazachuk and His Royal Highness Clyde Rivers. And in this, I talked about uncovering your uniqueness. My chapter deals with uncovering your uniqueness because oftentimes as women, we squash our voice, either because, again, going back to the past, going back to the things that has happened to us in the past, or it could be because of tradition society. We put our voice on mute. And I'm saying that when you uncover your voice, when you uncover your uniqueness, that it can take you far because now you are so confident. And when you are confident, because you have covered your voice, your uniqueness, guess what else it does? It helps in the family with your children. It helps in the community. You're able to help the community. You're able to help the whole world because when you change one woman, guess what? You're not just changing that woman. You're changing the whole world, and you create the change you desire in the world.
Interesting. Thank you for that. And so you're saying that we have to uncover our uniqueness. Could you please give our viewers maybe 2 3 points? One, actually, on how can someone uncover his uniqueness and, like you mentioned earlier, and own it? Because I think in Africa in particular, this is one of the challenge we have: owning our own experience and ideas, owning our own identity. We are only seeking for approval of some sort from somewhere, from someone. Now, as you talk about in the book on the almanac of rising stars, on how can someone, I wouldn't just go for women for that matter, even men need to know how to uncover their uniqueness. So if I'm living in Africa where it's just a copycat
Mm.
society, and where we have to submit or conform to the norm, whatever the norm is, so I can't embrace my uniqueness. I got to be like everyone else. How can I myself in this society ignore everything else, quote unquote, ignoring or everybody else, yet embrace my uniqueness, uncover and embrace my uniqueness in
You
such
know,
a culture?
I'm glad you asked that question. You said we're a copycat. You know, viewers, I grew up, I was born and I grew up in Nigeria, in African continent. And you are so true because we always think that the West knows the best. So with this social media
That's right.
era right now, it's even worse. It's even worse where people are losing their culture, that their culture, which is their identity, right? And we're copying the culture. And oftentimes when we are copying those cultures, people don't even know what it means. And I used to talk about young men pulling their pants down and they don't know the origin of that. That originated from people in the prison, right? But they
Wow.
see people doing that now. It's like they're pulling, you see them they're singing, the musicians, some of them you see what they're wearing inside. And I thought those things nobody's supposed to see it. But now it has become it become a culture of dressing because people are copying. And what's so bad about copying is that you lose your identity. And
That's right.
and I said a little bit about this, and I'm coming to what you asked me. I'm saying a little bit about it because I saw myself doing the same early on in my entrepreneurial endeavor. Because when you get into this social media, it will bury you if you don't have the if you don't take the time because you're so busy watching everybody else. You know, when I came in, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I remember it so clear because I wanted to help women. I wanted to work with women who understands my struggle. But it's taken me so many years to finally say, that's really what I wanted to do all along. And it takes being quiet. I cannot tell you. I was telling somebody this. I don't know what is it about walking. For me, if you leave me, I can walk 2, 3, 4 hours and don't
Wow.
get tired because there's something about when you are by yourself, just you thinking, right? It allows me, clears my brain. It allows me to think. So aloneness, being alone and thinking. And oftentimes I will use my cell phone and write whatever I'm thinking at that time so that when I come back, I'll remember. And most of the time I have solved a lot of problems just being alone. So number one is really being alone. Now number two, I believe on how you can discover your unique set because everybody is different. You cannot discover your uniqueness by watching somebody else. It's really thinking about. What is it about you? What is it about you that somebody else will want? What is it? Because honestly, you've seen the challenges other people have. How can you fulfill? How can you become a solution to somebody else's problem? How can, when you think about solution, 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 how can you become a solution to what somebody else is going through? It's not, I mean, it's not hard, but it's challenging. It's not hard, but it's challenging. But when you can do that and simply begin to journal, which I now do, journaling helps you so much because I don't care whether you're going through depression, I don't care whatever that is going on, when you begin to journal down at that particular time that is going on, you'll be amazed what comes out later on when you go back and read those journals. And begin to journal down what is in your mind. What do I have? What am I good at? What can I help people effortlessly? The key is effortlessly because oftentimes if you try to help somebody only from what you read in the book, which is okay, you can do that. But when you can help somebody because of experience, it makes a difference. Like you really have to look at and assess, who am I? Going back to the identity, right? What can I help somebody with? How can I be a solution? What problem can I solve for somebody? The word is effortlessly. Because when it's effortlessly, you don't have to be overwhelmed. You don't have to look to the right, to the left, to the north, to the south, because it's all within you already. It's just a process of how do I serve it to another person. That's how you uncover your uniqueness.
That's profound. You cannot discover your uniqueness by watching other people. Dr. Chrissy, that's a life changing saying. You cannot discover your uniqueness by watching other people. Dr. Chrissy, let's talk about the challenge you want to present. You are going through it now. You want to talk about the challenge, please.
I thank you for giving me that opportunity. This challenge is the Storytell to Sell 5-day challenge. What I struggle with early on in my entrepreneurial endeavor is having the foundation. That's right. And your viewers can relate to this. If you are in the early stage of your business, having a foundation, you get out there on the social media. What do I do? Step one, steps two, step three. You don't know. And so as a result, you spending money on the things that you don't know you don't need to spending money. Or even worse, if you were like me, you're Googling, you're watching every video, trying to find out what other people are doing that you can do the same. But guess what? It's not you. And that doesn't work. And that gets you confused, that gets you overwhelmed and frustrated. And oftentimes it gets you stuck. Because when you look at so many things, they're saying the same thing. You begin to wonder which one is right and which one is wrong, right? So getting the foundation, that's what this challenge is all about. The challenge will walk you through. If you're on social media and you want to help somebody else, but all you're posting is your dogs and cat and animal and food. There's nothing wrong with that, but you gotta think about how do other people see it, and can I solve people? Can somebody know that I'm solving your problem based on if they go on social media and look at me, right? And then we dive into how can you use your personal story to let someone know I have the solution to what you are looking for. So those are the things that we're going to be talking about. Like 5 days for the challenge. And yeah, that's what I'll be talking about in my Storytell to Sell 5-day challenge. So
Well,
giving
thank
you
you.
the foundation before you step on and spend unnecessary money.
Yes, these are the 5-day challenge presented by Dr. Chrissy. If you watch just below on your screen, there is there the link. It's called challenge. Then you can follow up with the link. Click over there, write it down, and please just click and go and participate in this 5-day challenge, which I'm sure are going to change your life, but also help you
Yes.
make 2023 the best year ever. You must win this year.
Yes, 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 yes. We must win this year.
Dr. Christie, closing remarks, please.
Well, hey, listen, I just want to thank you so much for allowing me the time to share with your viewers, to share with everyone that is watching and everybody that will be watching this as a replay. Listen, your life cannot be changed unless you determine to make a decision. It's only a decision can move you from point A to point B. And the decision you made in the past doesn't count if it's no longer serving you because you can always change and make a better decision. I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to impart. And your viewers, if they need to contact me, they can also click on that challenge because they can also contact me by clicking the challenge and going there to contact me. So I just want to thank you. And just know that your fingerprint is by design and not by choice. When you can do you and be you, listen, there will be no competition, no duplication, because you are unique and what you have matters. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Dr. Christie. Do you, be you, you're unique, your fingerprint is not just by chance. Dr. Chris, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And I wanted to know that I'm going to have you back still on the show because you have wonderful nuggets, wisdom shared today. I'm sure there's much more coming from your own signature and expertise as you help people sell their story, their storytelling, narrate their story to sell. So I'm gonna have you back again throughout the year. Wish you the best. I pray that you really succeed. All of your plans for the year 2023 come to pass. So we meet again today, next year, and celebrate the previous year and say, yes, we made
Yes,
it. We did win.
yes. And we're going to do something hopefully sometime this year. So I'm looking forward for that. So
Yes,
absolutely.
Dr.
We'll talk later about that.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. So thank you so much. Have a blessed day over there as we go to sleep here in Africa, Mozambique. Yeah.
Africa is the way to be. It's a place to be now because that's the place to be. What can I say? That is the place to be.
Yes,
And
that's the best.
hey, it's only gonna get better in the future. It's already getting better. So
Yes, yes. Thank you, my friend. Bye bye.
thank
God bless you.
you. Bye bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was our first episode for Dr. Mom Show for 2023. We had a wonderful conversation with Dr. Christie, and I pray that a wonderful year. God bless you, and watch out for the next episode of Dr. Mom Show. God bless you.